What's that? Version 2 of Prospeo? Yeah, it came out last week. Are you still using Cognism, ZoomInfo and Apollo for your list building? Oh god. No. You need to stop doing that right now. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In this sweet short video, I'm going to be walking you through version 2 of Prospeo.io. They've been working on this for the last 2 years, which is absolutely amazing. Initially, for context, they started as a contact intelligence tool, as a LinkedIn sales navigator scraper as well, to find mobile numbers and email addresses at scale. But now you can actually do some list building inside of the platform. And as you can see on the screen, this was a blog post created by the main man himself, Eric Naslowski. He has an agency that sends over 2 to 3 million cold emails every month, so they have high volumes. And in this blog post, it basically explains that Prospeo is the #1 provider when it comes to finding emails at scale, matching it. So they actually found more emails using Prospeo, but I didn't need Eric Naslowski to tell me this. In our own clay tables, Prospeo is #1 when it comes to doing our waterfall enrichment. We know Prospeo is the real deal. So Prospeo, for context, uses triple verified data, catch-all verification using bounce band and some other tools to verify your mobile and email addresses at scale. Now I'm going to talk about some super cool features Prospeo have added, but what I wanted to say is, for context, many years ago, back in like 22-23, I was using Apollo, Cognism and also ZoomInfo to find or doing some sort of lead generation or contact intelligence on email addresses and also cold calling numbers. But now the game has changed, and what I found many years ago compared to now, especially the last year or so, is that Apollo's data tends to be very, very static. So once upon a time, being the leading contact provider, it is now sort of stagnated, whereas Prospeo, every 7 days, right guys, every 7 days they're refreshing their data, which is super duper useful when building out some super high intent lists. And again, for context, I actually used to use Apollo, create an automation using Zapier, using Apollo's Chrome extension. I would go manually onto different platform or different profiles, LinkedIn profiles. I would then add the contact. It would then zap it into my Pipedrive CRM and then automatically enroll that contact, if it found the email, at scale into a pre-created sequence, which was actually booking me in around about 5 to 6 calls on autopilot, believe it or not. However, the game has changed a hell of a lot since then. That's kind of unheard of. We now need to use different kind of tips and tricks to really build the top of the funnel. But let's get straight into the platform. So Prospeo V2 is now here. They've also got a launch offer, which is 20% lifetime before February. The time of shooting this video is the 19th of January, so go ahead and actually claim that offer. I'm also going to link my affiliate link. If you also want to get some bunch of free credits, please let me know and I can try and hook you guys up. So let's go straight into the dashboard. Now, for context, version 1, we used it for, as a LinkedIn sales navigator scraper #1. We used it to find mobile contact numbers. We also used it to find email addresses at scale. So that first layer, which was contact intelligence, one of the best out of all the other legacy providers. But now what they've done is got the layer 2, which is the list building. We can build out people lists, company lists based on different filters, and also some super cool high intent stuff as well. Now, you're going to hear this first on this channel. The Prospeo team hasn't told me anything about this. I can actually see Prospeo using tunnel vision as being the all-in-one go-to-market tool. So they've got the contact intelligence layer, they've got the list building, which I'm going to go into detail right now in this video. And I would say that in the future, they'll probably add in a future sequencer for maybe LinkedIn outreach or maybe some cold emailing as well. So you can actually do everything inside of one platform. So now I don't think there are a few platforms that do that. So Apollo tries to do that as well. I don't think they do that very good, in my opinion. And obviously they have static data sources as well, but that's where I can kind of see Prospeo going. But guys, that's just my prediction. Nobody's told me anything about that so far. But let's get straight into the platform. So as you can see here, very clean platform, nice UI, very quick as well, which you're going to see in a second. But they've got some super cool integrations with multi-outreach tools, with sequencers as well. They've got integrations with the top 2 CRMs, HubSpot, Salesforce. They've also got some automation integrations coming soon in beta testing. We've also got Clay as well, but you can use Prospeo inside of Clay anyways at the minute for the contact intelligence side. You see how many credits you're spending on emails, how many credits you're spending on mobile numbers as well. API is super cool. I'm not that techie, but I've been told by many of my peers in the community, go-to-market community, that their API is super, super cool and one of the best in the game as well. You had this in version 1 anyways, V1 of Prospeo.io, but let's say you scrape a list using an external tool or a scraper, you can actually just upload it via CSV file into the platform and then just use it to enrich email addresses and also mobile numbers. So let's talk about the people. People list is really cool. I'm not going to do so many filters on this side of things, but you can actually look at employee headcount. You can look at industry and keywords. Buying intent is super cool. So I've got an intent topic which is open banking, one of my interests as well. So just a kind of context. So the buying intent shows you the companies that are actively searching a specific topic. This you can use a trigger-based outreach methodology inside of your copy on LinkedIn or also email. So very similar to what Triggerify does, but Prospeo has obviously now added that inside their platform, which I absolutely love. So that's pretty cool. You can look at the revenue. People search, you can look at their job titles. So typically we help B2B fintech clients build the top of the funnel for the third of a price of an SDR. And typically we like to deal with chief commercial officers, chief sales officers, and just all the sales leads are typically, or a chief marketing officer, anybody that's involved in the go-to-market process at the company of a fintech, B2B fintech company. Now you can also look at headcount, company, email provider, which I'm going to get onto for a second, but let's use an actual example. So ICP is based in United States as well. So we can do United States, also Europe as well. So Eastern Europe, or just Europe in general. I'll just use Europe for now as this is kind of high level example. Employee headcount. So typically our sweet spot is 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 50. Typically that's who we type of fintech companies we help. Industry and keywords. So we can just type in financial services. So I was actually playing around with this last week and I actually found a few open banking providers. So for context, we help fintech lending companies. We help payment gateway companies, merchant service providers, card providers, and also open banking companies as well. So that's kind of our bag here. That's our expertise. But I was actually very impressed with Prospeo 2.0 because I was actually able to find some open banking companies that I actually hadn't heard before, which I found out as a really big win. So you'd actually go to company keyword, open banking, for example, and then you'd see we get 247 results. But like I said, we actually found a couple on here that I actually hadn't heard before. And I really know my industry when it comes to open banking. We've also got buying intent as well, which is super cool, which I mentioned. We've got technology, so they've actually powered by Wappalizer. So we actually use Wappalizer and built with inside of clay.com, but we no longer need to do that, which is super cool. Funding is in beta testing, but if we, instead of using like a Crunchbase or a PitchBook, we can actually now use this inside of Prospeo once it's ready, which is super duper cool. Technologies, love this one. So let's say I was going after e-commerce brands, I would just type Stripe. So I would want to see who's using Stripe at checkout. Or if we wanted to see who's using which CMS provider, like a Shopify or an SEO provider, we can actually now find that inside of the Prospeo platform. So all of these intent signals are so good. So we can actually build some really high intent lists that really fit our ICP. So finding 100 that fit our ICP are better than finding, 1,000, 1,000 companies that don't really fit the bill. And we can also look at company attributes. So if they've got online reviews, I love this feature as well. So let's say, for example, they get bad reviews because their customer service isn't good, or there's something that your agency or your team can help by looking at these online reviews. I absolutely love this feature as well, or offers a free trial. That's pretty cool as well. You can look at headcount. So if they're looking by department, you can also look at that. If there's a job posting, so let's say this company's hiring for SDRs, from an agency perspective, from my perspective, if they're hiring for SDRs, if they're looking for hiring AEs, that looks like they want to build more funnel, top of the funnel, or they might have bigger revenue goals to hit in each quarter. So that's where we can go along and say, we can do the same job for the third of a price of an SDR. And obviously, talk about our social proof, etc., etc. High level view there. But one of the most important features, the features that I love the most, is looking at which company email provider the companies are using. So Mimecast and Proofpoint, for example, if you're not aware of this, they are like a cybersecurity tool which filters out a lot of spam. It also filters out a lot of phishing emails too. So very, very key for a lot of companies or big organizations, for example, to have that laid into their process for protection, of course, but from like a go-to-market perspective, from an agency perspective, if they're using Mimecast or Proofpoint, for example, I'm going to be a little bit weary of sending them emails, making sure that the copy is really good. It's not very spammy, but typically they probably wouldn't get past it. So we'd have to go for a different direction, maybe do some cold calling, some multi-channel outreach, or even do some LinkedIn outreach as well on these companies. I love this feature, right? So if you just select on it there, you can see that these companies here have actually implemented these cybersecurity tools, which I love the clarity on that as well. And then again, we can also see the companies that are using Microsoft and Google. This is so important as well, because you can actually start to use different mailboxes, different workspace mailboxes, and purchase different ones to actually align up with what what the company you're looking to go after, what they're actually using as well. So that is kind of high level view. Like I said, I was testing this the other day. I found a couple open banking providers that I actually hadn't heard of before. Again, this is probably mostly linked with LinkedIn's data, which is super cool. Apollo, again, probably very similar to Apollo, but I would say a little bit better with the contact intelligence side. Why would you pay for Apollo when you can now just use Prospeo's lead list building, as well as having the best contact intelligence verified tools as well? So love all of that. You can also then go ahead and actually, what you can do is you can select all of these companies. For example, select all companies, apply it. We can then add a special list, or we can push it to a CR of our choice, or we can just export it via CSV file and then do further enrichment in another platform. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was like a high level view of V2. Like I said, I'm going to hyperlink my affiliate link in below, but message me on YouTube in the comments, or you can message me on LinkedIn. And if you want to get some free credits, let me know, and I can try my best to hook you up from the Prospeo team. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Play around with the platform. V2 is only just getting started. I think they're going to probably ship way more features and add way more filters. So keep an eye on it for in the foreseeable future, and definitely give it a go and play around with it. My name's Michael. I'm the founder of Prospectology. We help B2B fintech clients build the top of their funnel for the third of a price of an SDR. If you want to book in a call with us, a discovery call, I'll also link in our Calendly link as well. If you just want to vent about outbound or see how we can help you build the top of your funnel, I will also be hyperlinking that in the comment section as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.